In Las Vegas last night. We'll have the answer to that. Stay with us. Your Sunday morning news is coming up next.
Jim Norman has gone through a lot of changes over the last 20 years, but one thing hasn't changed. He still gets his brakes fixed at CarAct.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Reynolds.
And I'm Grace Lee Nickel.
Big game today for the Vikings again, this time without Jim McMahon. Sean gets the very unusual role for him starting now.
You know, and he's really good about saying the right things as a backup quarterback. Dennis Green loves that, but really Sean Salisbury wants to prove that he can start some controversy at the quarterback position, and we may see that today. If we do, the Vikings will be 5-3, and like Dennis Green says, there's a big difference between 4-4 and 5-3.
Staying in the race is the big difference.
That's what it's all about.
Someone who will be at that game today is Matt Balow. Yep.
That's right. And for those of you who are going to the game, actually, it should be a pretty nice day to start out. Plenty of sunshine. We'll have more clouds in the afternoon. That game is not being carried by Channel 4, but there is football on WCCO later this afternoon. Philadelphia is playing at Phoenix, and that should be a nice game to watch. If it's a little cold outside for you here, it'll be sunny there. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s. A nice day for football there, and not a bad day here either for the beginning of November. We'll have the whole forecast coming up in just a moment. Scott?
All right. Thanks very much, Matt. Our top story this Sunday morning, a Minneapolis police officer involved in a shootout that leaves one man dead. The shooting happened just before midnight on 31st Avenue North near Colfax. Authorities say police officer Paul Moen had just finished working and was dropping off a ride-along when a man came very near his pickup truck firing shots at a group of people. At that time, the man realized Officer Moen was nearby, but probably didn't know he was a cop.
The party realized he was there, took the weapon and aimed it at Officer Moen, at which time he took his off-duty weapon, aimed it out the window, and fired at this party several times. The party started to waver and then started to raise the weapon again, so he continued firing until the party fell.
The victim has not yet been identified. Police Chief John Locke says this appears to be a justified shooting on Officer Moen's part, but anytime an officer shoots and kills someone, the case does go to the grand jury. Moen will be put on administrative leave for 3 days, which is standard procedure. Investigators now say an apartment fire in downtown Minneapolis started when spray paint was ignited by a space heater. That fire broke out about 2:30 yesterday afternoon at 521 South 9th Street. A 59-year-old man was seriously burned when that paint ignited. He's hospitalized at Hennepin County Medical Center. The fire caused about $20,000 in damage. The top world story today from our CNN Sat Center comes from Moscow, where hundreds of heavily armed police and paramilitary troops are blocking demonstrations by communists trying to mark the anniversary of the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution. The anniversary used to be the most important holiday in the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Russian President Boris Yeltsin now says he will not keep his promise to hold presidential elections next year. Instead, he wants to serve until 1996 and train someone to run as his successor.
My viewpoint is that he should do as promised. I think he would only win as a result of keeping his promise.
Will he win the election if he runs in June?
Well, this depends on how things evolve and what kind of policy will be followed by the government after the parliamentary elections. A lot will hinge on that.
Parties are organizing frantically right now for those parliamentary elections. In Sarajevo, 1,500 women and children will have to wait to leave that city. Yesterday, they were expecting to be evacuated, but a pre-dawn raid made that impossible. The UN had arranged to carry the refugees out in 2 bus convoys, but most people couldn't even make it to the bus station. There has been another killing in the occupied West Bank. A faction of the Palestine Liberation Organization is claiming responsibility for today's attack, which hurt an Israeli rabbi and killed his driver. The last attack on an Israeli in the West Bank set off a week of riots. Here in the United States, the so-called suicide doctor is getting support outside his Michigan jail cell. Supporters of Jack Kevorkian rallied outside that jail yesterday demanding his release. Kevorkian has been jailed since Friday when he refused to post an increased bond. Kevorkian faces charges in another assisted suicide case. And now checking a couple of stories from inside some of the nation's top newspapers. The New York Times says some 600 members of a cult have been put in jails or hospitals in the Ukraine. The leader of the cult, called White Brotherhood, has pledged to stage her own crucifixion and resurrection this month outside the main cathedral in Kiev. Followers have pledged a mass suicide. The cult's leader still remains in hiding. And elsewhere, the Chicago Tribune explains in its travel section that despite some panning from the critics, the movie Gettysburg has impacted some Americans' travel plans. It appears that since the release of the 4-hour movie, that was on October 10th, record numbers of people have visited the town and also the Gettysburg National Military Park. That 1863 battle ended with 7,000 dead, 11,000 missing, 23,000 wounded. And looking ahead, hearing impaired people living in the Twin Cities may not be able to make telephone calls beginning tomorrow. Yesterday, Minnesota relay operators voted to go on strike. Relay operators help hearing impaired people make and receive phone calls.
We need to make a living wage. We need to get off food stamps. I can't believe they'd rather contract the service out to temps or send it to another state than stick with the people they've already got who are skilled, trained, concerned, committed to the deaf community.
And compared their jobs in terms of pay and their jobs that require telephone skill, jobs that require clerical skill, that requires interaction with the public. And we compared and found that our contract was very comparable to other businesses in downtown St. Paul.
Management has threatened to permanently replace those striking workers. The union has gone to court seeking a restraining order and says it is still willing to negotiate. Well, a lot of you are probably watching this and your husband or wife may be sitting in a deer stand at the same time. The gun deer hunting season opened yesterday in Minnesota, and we caught up with a team that's a little out of the ordinary. Emily Rice has been following her father's footsteps to her deer stand for 4 years now. They say gun safety training, some patience, and a lot of sleep paid off. And Emily is leading the way this year. She shot the pair's first buck, but says it's the time they spend together that's most important.
Well, this is one time of the year and something that we do that we share together. And I think we both enjoy that.
My dad started me, and it's something that I like to do because it's different. And I like the outdoors, so I like being out here.
Emily says she plans to continue hunting, maybe with her husband once she's married. And for those who perform to stay indoors, there was this performance last night at Northrop Auditorium. The American Indian Dance Theater tours the country performing its ritual dances, some of which are 600 years old. Each dance has a different meaning. And stay with us, because still to come on this Sunday morning, we'll hear what the Gophers have to say about yesterday's heartbreaking loss to the Illini. And after weather, we'll tell you why Don Shelby and the CCO Blues Band cranked it up for a good cause last night.
You're watching 4 News Sunday.
With over 3,000 years of history to explore, you'll appreciate our rest areas. Call today, 1-800-44-MEXICO.
Prepare your car for winter with Prestone from Menards. Antifreeze coolant stops the rust that stops your car. It provides maximum freeze-up and boil-over protection. Just $3.65 a gallon. Add elegance to your home with a leaded glass and brass door from Mastercraft. These pre-hung doors feature magnetic weather stripping and adjustable oak threshold. Just $167. Save big money at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Abra, aren't you the perfection people?
That's right, perfection. It's a dirty job.
Yeah, I know, but somebody's got to do it, right?
What you might not know is that we also offer quality glass installation and repair.
What do you mean, quality? Glass is glass.
No, sir. There's good glass and there's cheap glass. At Abra, we only install good glass with a lifetime warranty. That's your right.
My right to choose, huh? I'll choose Abra.
Call Abra first. They'll handle everything with your insurance company for you. 544-ABRA.
It's the Sunbird Spectacular at Wally McCarthy's Pontiac. Find the largest selection of new 94 Sunbirds in Minnesota. Almost 100 to choose from. Right now, get a $1,600 discount on a new Sunbird. And if you're under 30 years old, save another $400. That's a total of $2,000 off. The Sunbird comes standard with front-wheel drive, power locks, and anti-lock brakes. The Sunbird Spectacular at Wally McCarthy's Pontiac Superstore in White Bear Lake.
Well, at last night's title fight, there was a knockout. It just wasn't one of the fighters in the ring, that's all.
3 people taken away on stretchers, none of which were the fighters. Very bizarre goings-on in your old stomping grounds. It was a very weird Saturday night in Las Vegas as Evander Holyfield regained the IBF and WBA heavyweight championships he lost to Riddick Bowe 1 year ago. The 12-round bout favored Riddick Bowe early until the 7th round when a man wearing a parachute and a propeller-driven device descended onto the ring and got tangled up in the ropes. He then fell back into the crowd and was beaten by spectators before being handcuffed and removed by police. Only in Las Vegas. The fight continued after a 20-minute delay. When the final bell rang, Holyfield's trainer had to take the fighter down literally to keep him away from Riddick Bowe. Evander Holyfield ended up winning the majority decision. Well, if first half performances had any worth in the record books, the Timberwolves would be in much better shape. They lost their home opener last night to the Utah Jazz despite a decent showing in the first half and 18 points from Christian Laettner, but they couldn't stop Karl Malone down the stretch. The mailman delivered 32 points and 15 rebounds as the Wolves fall to 0-2, 105-95, the final. Well, no matter where you turned, yesterday was not a good day for the home team. The Gopher hockey team dropped their record to 0-5-1 after an embarrassing loss at Northern Michigan. Yesterday's 7-3 defeat gives the team its worst start since 1959. Meanwhile, the Gopher football team let a victory against Illinois slip away in the closing seconds. This Illini touchdown turned what had been a 20-9 lead minutes earlier into a heartbreaking 23-20 defeat.
It gets old after a while, and we just got to be more determined enough to come away with the win here. And until we do that, we're not going to be satisfied. You know, it looks good to a lot of people, but for the players, we've been through some tough times, and it's not good enough until we get it done.
The Gophers' record falls to 4-5, 3-3 in the Big Ten. Well, the Vikings will try to buck the trend this afternoon and win one for Minnesota. They'll be 5-3 and a viable threat to Detroit if they can beat San Diego today. But if they lose, they'll be struggling to distinguish themselves from the rest of the pack. Jim McMahon is nursing a dislocated shoulder, so the Vikings avoided controversy when they named Sean Salisbury today's starting quarterback. But if he steps in and finds the open man like he did last week, the great debate could resurface.
I just feel like, hey, if a guy's open, give him the ball, and all that does is stretch the field for us. If they got to defend the whole field from AC right on across to Chris and Steve and Robert Smith, then it works to my advantage, and it makes it easier. So I'll, try to distribute the ball again, but like I said, I kid around. If you're out there running open, I'm going to try to get you the ball.
Rookie Gino Torretta has surpassed Brad Johnson to become the backup to the backup. His preseason showing and Heisman Trophy apparently came in handy.
Well, I think it was a situation that they had told me that there was experience involved, experience through college and what I had done in the preseason, that, I showed them things that were good things and things that they were promising.
The most promising sign would be a mid-season surge and bouncing back from last week's near miss against Detroit.
Anytime you lose a game like that, you look forward to erasing that memory, and the only way to do that is playing another game. So every game will make a difference to everybody. I mean, it'll be a big game for San Diego. It'll be a big game next week for Detroit. I mean, all around the league, that's how it's going to be. So we know this is a big game, and next week following this one will be a big game. They're all going to be big from here on out.
The Vikings take on the Chargers in less than 2 hours at the Metrodome, while the other NFC Central Division matchups have Tampa Bay at Detroit at noon, the Raiders at Chicago at 3 o'clock, and tomorrow Green Bay takes on Kansas City on Monday Night Football. Well, football historians will be keeping an eye on today's Miami Jets game at New York, where Don Shula can become the winningest coach in NFL history. He's tied with the legendary George Halas with 324 victories, and there is no doubt that Shula is also among the greats. He's the only coach to guide his team to an unbeaten season and the only coach to have 6 Super Bowl appearances. And good news for Dolphins fans, he's not even thinking of retirement.
Day that I don't have the butterflies or that I don't have the anxieties, then I'm going to look for something else to do. But, that day hasn't come.
Well, decision time is drawing near as to whether or not the Edmonton Oilers will eventually relocate to Minnesota. I had a chance to visit the Canadian city earlier this week and got a feel for what the people think of possibly losing their beloved NHL franchise. Conversations invariably turn to team owner Peter Pocklington and comparisons to Norman Green.
They both have outstanding debts with the Alberta Treasury Branch exceeding $25 million. Peter Pocklington likes to go to Palm Springs, which is where he is today, and Norm Green often went to Palm Springs.
They thought they had a problem with Norm Green. Wait till they get Peter.
But Denise, they want a hockey team. They don't care who the owner is. They want a hockey team.
Great for them. If they don't care who the owner is, then why did they care so much about Norm Green if they don't care who the owner is and all they want is a hockey team?
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
It all sounds so familiar. I tell you, we got to the airport, we got in the car, turned on the radio, they were talking about their Oilers leaving. So this was unsolicited negative criticism on Peter Pocklington, and the comparisons just keep coming out to he and Norm Green, and they are good friends.
And even a couple of the players, I mean, it's not just the owner. They got in a fight recently after Edmonton had gone 11 in a row without a victory, and that was outside some disco in Edmonton. So it's not just the owner that there might be trouble with.
Edmonton is feeling the loss already.
I think the city would take any team, though, right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
Stay tuned to Channel 4 for complete Vikings coverage today. The Vikings Today show will kick it off at 11 o'clock with Ralph John, and then at 11:05, it's Rosen's Sports Sunday. That's on late tonight, about a half hour late, because the movie Ghost runs until about 10:30.
Are you still in the dark about your hard water problems? Well, your Culligan man is ready to help you solve those problems with products and services that serve millions of homes every day. From the smallest applications to Culligan's top-of-the-line aqua sensor, America calls the Culligan man for purchase or rental, yes, rental, of world-famous Culligan water conditioners. Ask your Culligan man about his automatic rental program. There's no long-term obligation and never a charge for service or repair. Or ask your Culligan man about his monthly tank recycling program, Culligan's exclusive low-cost system that requires absolutely no electricity, salt, or maintenance. The phones are ringing at Culligan right now, because right now, for a limited time, your participating Culligan man offers basic installation of any Culligan unit for just $10. Remember, Culligan services all brands of water softeners and delivers salt, too. So whatever your need, trust the experts.
Hey, Culligan man!
Call your Culligan man now.
Are you ready for winter yet? If not, Champion Auto Stores can help with our Are You Ready for Winter sale. Here's what you gotta do. Swing into a store and pick up this 8-page circular. It's packed full of everything you need to get ready for winter. And if you buy $15 or more of whatever you need, plus a gallon of our antifreeze, we'll give you the antifreeze for free. On Wednesday, it's a free gallon of washer fluid. And if you stop in on Thursday, you can get 2 free quarts of motor oil. It's all part of the Are You Ready for Winter sale. Don't miss it.
How do you stop a burglar? Ask a burglar. Dimension asked hundreds and got exclusive information you won't get anywhere else. They told us what they look for.
You can just take a screwdriver and pop those open.
What they avoid.
I had a hard time taking real personal items.
And what's at stake.
The potential for someone to get hurt is high.
It's information that could save your valuables and your life. Know your enemy with help from your news. Monday in Dimension.
Well, it definitely was a chilly morning to be out for a walk in downtown Minneapolis, but a pretty morning anyway, and we're wondering if it will warm up at all this week. Matt's up on the roof to tell us.
I think we're going to have another cool week on the way, Scott, although this morning started out with some cool temperatures, the coolest night of the season so far with an overnight low of 16, but now the sun is out. It's making that soft, fluffy snow that we had fall just a couple of days ago now into, we can make better snowballs out of it, which might be some advantage. In the meantime, I think that sun is going to help melt a little bit of that snow. But this sun that we have won't be around all day long. It will be around for the next few hours. We'll take a live picture from our Skyview camera, and you can see plenty of blue sky right now. There are some high clouds around, and we've got more clouds on the way, so you'll need your sunglasses for the next few hours. After that, it'll be back to cloudy weather. 29 right now, the current temperature with plenty of sunshine outside. We do have a south wind at 10 miles per hour at the airport. That's giving us a wind chill factor of 15 degrees above zero. And the barometer is rising. It reached 29.82 inches. This is going to be a cold week on tap, although temperatures for the start of the week this morning are actually kind of mild. The cool spot right now is up to our northeast, Duluth at 20 degrees, but there are some 30s right now, 32 in Fairmont, 34 in Redwood Falls, and temperatures will rise still about another 6 or 7 degrees with plenty of all the sunshine that we have. We had some clouds yesterday, those moved on, clear skies overnight. More clouds have been moving across the state. We do have, as you can see on this map, a very large hole in the clouds, and that's what's over the Twin Cities right now and should be over the Twin Cities for the next few hours, but plenty more cloud cover on the way. That's headed in our direction. So again, this sunshine will not last all day long, but it will be around for a few hours. And there's some cold air up to the north. The leading edge of a cold front will make its way across the Twin Cities coming up later on this afternoon. Yesterday, as I mentioned, we had the clouds until late in the day. We'll see more clouds moving in. There is some high pressure, which should give us some sunshine coming up again tomorrow. We'll have partly sunny skies then, but just some flurries around and lots of clouds across the state as that cold front moves in later on today. Temperatures are expected to be in the 30s. We're not very far from there now, of course, with our current reading of 29, but temperatures very mild, and it looks like we'll have a reinforcing shot of some cold air coming in tomorrow. And for Tuesday, maybe 40s by the end of the week. But the forecast for this afternoon coming up, plenty of sunshine right now, and then this afternoon clouding up once again. We'll have some flurries around. We're looking for a high temperature of about 35 degrees and a west to southwest wind at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So it'll be a little breezy at times, Scott, but a little mild for the next few hours. And again, you'll want your sunglasses if you're heading down to the Dome to go to the game or anywhere else on this fine Sunday morning.
Matt, I'm wondering at 29 degrees, maybe even with that sunshine though, is the snow melting a little bit up on the roof or not?
It is melting a little bit. As I showed you, it's getting a little more wet to it as it does start to melt and a little easier to compact. It was very dry and fluffy when it fell the past couple of days. It was hard to make a good snowball or a snowman. Of course, there wasn't that much around to make a snowman. But temperatures, as they're warming up, still cold enough to make snow overnight. And one other note I would like to pass along is that 3 ski areas now, Afton Alps, Trollhagen, and Wild Mountain, all are open with one share and at least one run. If you'd like to get some early snow skiing early in the season underway, they're open today till 9 o'clock, all 3 of those places.
All right, thanks much. Matt Balo up on our roof. Well, this morning we're going to do something a bit different for our Up North segment. We're going to take you to Sauk Center to meet a man with a very unusual hobby. He calls himself an arctophile. What's that, you ask? Here's reporter Raylan Story with the answer.
Most of us remember that cuddly critter we called Teddy, but as we grew up, we were told it was time to put him aside. A man in Sauk Center decided to make a home for all those discarded bears and the memories that go with them.
I've never met a bear I didn't like.
Jim Plouffe began building his bear kingdom at age 1 when he got his first furry friend. Now his collection tops 350, and there's always room for more.
You know, you look at this little face and this little thing, and it's just, it's received a lot of love and a lot of attention from a little person, and that just makes it special.
For this grown-up, owning old bears is one way to stay young.
You have to hang on to a little bit of your childhood. You have to do that, and I guess this is one of the ways that I do that. All the joints are really good, and the material on it is really good, so it probably wasn't played with a whole lot in this bear.
These antique animals date back to 1903. After years of snuggling, most of these teddies are too tender to touch. But like the Energizer Bunny, others just keep going and going and going.
There's a good one. We'll take a look at this one first. This is called a yes-no bear.
It's kind of nice to know there's someone saving something that was once so special. Just think, among these well-worn creatures could be the one you loved. In Sauk Center, Raylan Story, 4 News Sunday Morning.
And 4 out of 6 here in our studio have their childhood teddy bears, so that tells you something. A member of Jim's bear family recently received an honor, by the way. Out of 20,000 bears who tried out, he was selected to appear in the 1994 Teddy Bear Calendar. Your Sunday News will continue in just a minute, but first we've got to look at some fun family events going on this Sunday.
Do you and your family have to contend with problem water? It's usually well water that looks so bad and smells so bad that nobody has to tell you that you've got a problem. If anybody can help you, your Culligan man can, because Culligan can customize a solution for every hard water problem. Your Culligan man offers the automatic rental program, the economical, repair-free, worry-free way that's helped millions of American homeowners solve their hard water problems for over 50 years. And Culligan also features the famous monthly tank recycling program, the exclusive system that costs you absolutely nothing for electricity, salt, or maintenance. One low monthly payment covers it all. Call Culligan right now. For a limited time, your participating Culligan man offers basic installation of any Culligan unit for just $10. Remember, Culligan services all brands of water softeners and delivers salt, too. Whatever your hard water problem, trust the experts.
Hey, Culligan man!
Call your Culligan man now.
My Fuddruckers burger is the world's
greatest
half-pound.
Wow.
Actually, it's chicken. Topped with all
I want lots of dab salsa and
mayo with tomatoes.
And tomatoes on a big,
A small dollop of
yummy
jalapeno cheese. No cheese
on a fresh baked bun.
Fresh baked bun.
Baked bun with Coke over ice. No ice.
Free refills.
With my fries.
Ooh, it's
Heavenly.
gone.
Who makes the world's greatest hamburger? Fuddruckers and you.
A one-price Cutlass Supreme, we have them.
The Cutlass Supreme is just $16,995.
The competition costs thousands more.
The Cutlass Supreme comes with airbag, anti-lock brakes, air conditioning, AM/FM cassette, power windows, and much more. Demand better. Get the Oldsmobile Edge with a satisfaction guarantee, roadside assistance, and bumper-to-bumper warranty.
We've got a great selection.
The one-price Cutlass Supreme at Wally McCarthy's Oldsmobile in Richfield.
Well, Grace still has her childhood teddy bears, but Peter Pocklington, we were just talking about the Oilers again. Really, he's thought of as no teddy bear up in Alberta.
No, but he's not missing his eyes and nose like my teddy bears back home.
He
no,
might
he's
be.
not. He's really not. As much as they dislike the man in Edmonton, he owns the only two major sports franchises in Edmonton. The AAA baseball club, the Trappers, are the other. So as much as they hate him, they want him to stay because then their two teams would be gone. They'd be a small market as far as sports is concerned. So it's a real tough tug of war.
And this Sunday, some sadness for Doug Woog. Surprisingly, the Gophers with the big goose egg for victories.
I tell you, they have the new arena, the grand opening, and they're 0-5-1. It's pretty unbelievable. Hard to believe that this would have happened with such a banner introduction to the year.
Everybody will start asking him now, will you take kids from out of Minnesota on scholarship? But
That's
I'm
right.
sure Woogster will say no to that.
That's right.
And we'll leave you this Sunday morning with a look at the 3rd annual Ball of Fall. Hundreds of people got dressed up in their very best to raise money for the Violence Against Women Coalition last night. The WCCO Blues Band providing the entertainment. Have a good Sunday.
We could go to the pyramids while we're here.
Maybe shopping in one of those colonial towns.
We could take a trip to the fishing